Cloud. January the 21st, this is our first meeting in 2023. It's going to be a great year for us that we are, this group eager to learn and continue our study. So let's continue let's continue with our prayer. And since this is our first meeting of the year, I have a specific one for today. So closing our eyes, relaxing our body, and keeping our mind focused on the good vibes, the good spirits, the light, this very bright light coming from the higher spirits. So we invite them to be here today with us, to encourage, to give us strength, to help us, guide us, protect us. Dear Lord, may our year be filled with peace, prosperity, and love, not only for us, each members of this group today here present with us or not, but also for the whole world. May your blessings shower upon the whole world in this 2023 year. Be for each one of us a bright, healthy, charitable, and peaceful new year. May the Lord make this new year 2023 a happy one, not by shielding us from any sorrow, any pain, but by helping us to raise up stronger again, strong and stronger if any bad experiences come. Shine your light in us, through us, over us. Protect us, this group, this study from any undesirable influences, and the same protection and guidance we ask for everyone, including our family members, our friends, our neighbors. Please, dear Father, set your way before us. May we make a difference in this world for your glory and purpose, and so be it.
Amen.
So be it.
Amen. All right. So, okay. So
it is.
Yeah, last time we stopped by law of destruction. The topic was dwelling, and the question was 758 and 758A. So 758, can dwelling be considered murder on the part of the individual who, knowing his own weakness, is realistically sure of being killed? And the answer, that would be suicide. And the question A, when the chances are equal, is it murder or suicide? And the answer is, it is both. So a comment from Kardec, in all cases, even when the chances are equal, duelists are guilty. In the first case, they are guilty because they make level-headed and deliberate attack on the life of a fellow human being. The second, they risk their own lives for no reason and without serving any benefit to anyone. So now we move to 759. Oh, there is Luis and Livia and a lot of people with them. Hi guys, can you hear us okay? I guess we lost them. So so the 759, what is the real nature of the point of honor in duels? So without reading the answer, any comment or any specific opinion about the real nature? Hyacinth, please.
Well, does it still happen, these duels, because that was previously when there was anything, that's how you settled it,
Yes.
knowing that one would be killed, but it was honor. And so, again, I would agree that it was pride and vanity. But I hope that we have come away from that. This actually killing with swords or with guns even. But although we still kill deliberately.
Yes, exactly. Agree. Yeah. Thank you, Heise. Gloria?
I don't think women dueled. I think it was a male
Just
ego
men.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a male,
Yeah.
male ego thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
For honors. They used the word honor to elevate it, but I think it was male ego.
Mhm.
Yes. Agree. And but today we have a different different way of doing that is the gangs, right? They still fight among them and for a position or something, right? So it's anyway, it's always, and I would say yes, it's pride and vanity. Leda, please.
And today we have the opinion dolls, right?
Exactly.
People are separated with different opinions, different groups, and they still go against each other with heavy words and even wishing the others to be dead. Sometimes they won't do it because of the law and everything, but they wish the others to be dead, which is horrible.
Horrible.
Right.
Yeah, that you brought up a good point because yeah, we might not kill the other person, but how many times we kill the friendship, we kill the good, really the bond, and the, you know, so it's yeah. Thank you, Lida. So yeah, the answer, pride and vanity, two plagues of humanity. And then the question 759A, are there cases where a person's honor is really at the stake and a refusal to fight would be an act of cowardice? Is there any case we can think? No comment? So Leda, would you, yeah, go ahead, Heisi.
No, I'm just trying to think of a case where you need to fight. Now you take people to court.
Yes,
Rather
opinion.
than
Yeah, yeah. That's what Leda was saying. We follow the law, but just because we must. Maria, please.
I think that this question is very important to us today because we have to dealing with offenses and deceptions that requires emotional maturation. I don't know if that's correct.
Maturity.
Maturity, okay. And emotional intelligence as well. But it is a resource we are only now paying attention to developing. That's right, to pay attention to developing.
Yeah, emotional intelligence,
Yes,
maturity, yes.
Yes. When we are disconnected from self-worth, poder pessoal, autoestima,
self-esteem and
yes,
self-knowledge.
Yes. Disappointments hit us hardest.
Or
That's
you can
right.
say heavenly, yeah.
Yes. If someone manages to disappoint our expectation, perhaps we are keeping them above what is viável for them.
Doable.
Yeah,
Yes.
doable.
Aí eu speak em português. Nós estamos com muitas expectativas com relação ao retorno das pessoas.
Oh,
E
yeah.
aí elas nos decepcionam, nos magoam, mexem com a nossa honra, entendeu?
Yeah. So what she's saying is, today we create a lot of expectations about what people can do for us. And as we expect them to deliver something really good, and as they don't, because they are just human beings like any other, like us, for example, then we get highly disappointed, offended, right? So it's really, and that requires a lot of effort from us to develop our emotional intelligence to, become more and more mature. Yeah, agree. Thank you, Maria. Debbie, you're on mute.
Okay. Hi. I just was thinking that it's so much still in our culture. Well, I don't know if there's so many movies and songs about, getting even and being strong, and that's better than being weak and letting it go by. When really, I think, the real virtue would be forgiving, and it's
Right.
like all this popular culture just goes against that. That's just how humans are still.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, great comment. Yes, there is a lot of misconception, misunderstanding about what being strong means, what being evolved, and so forgiveness sometimes is interpreted as being weak, right? And it's
All right, I've got a serious question.
yes.
When you watch a revenge movie or play or read a book that has a very satisfying revenge in it for some nasty perpetrator that really deserves it, and you take satisfaction from this, how is this affecting your karma? Or is it affecting it in any way?
In my opinion, will that fact really add more to who you already are? Because if you're getting satisfaction from it, is because you are an equal. So perhaps the movie is not adding anything more. I'm just thinking about myself. If I see a movie, first of all, I will not be watching this kind of movies. But if I do, then I will see so many things that is going to be in conflict with what I believe, that the purpose of the movie will be completely lost to me, I guess.
Oh, come now, Anna. You know perfectly well that when you see a nasty criminal who is very deserving for having done very nasty things, which I'm not going to talk about, but the hero exacts revenge by providing, the only thing that's wrong is usually the nasty criminal gets a very quick death instead of a slow, long, drawn out one. That's the only thing that's wrong with the movies. But I feel that this is a play we're watching, and therefore and I like your first opinion, which was that it makes no difference to the observer's karma. You're just seeing the play. All right, sorry, there's two more opinions up there.
Thank you. Hasek, please.
Well, there is such a thing as satisfied revenge being a dreadful sin. And therefore it must affect your karma if you are wishing evil on people, no matter how evil they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Then wishing evil on a bad person makes you just as bad
as bad,
doing bad
exactly.
things.
Yeah, that I also agree, and I believe in that. Yeah, so I can't remember which question that is on the spirits book, but they ask if someone is invading your house, and do you have the right to just kill that person, shoot that person, and kill him or her? And the answer is, evidently, if you are defending yourself, your family, or then evidently you want to stop that individual from doing any harm, but that doesn't give you a pass to kill, so you should avoid killing. What you should be doing is try to stop the best way you can that person from doing what that person was planning on doing, but not necessarily killing. Evidently, killing is one of the potential results, one of the possible results, but we should try to stop that, prevent that person from continuing doing and not really kill. So
Well, I can say that if somebody is going to kill me, I don't know if I'm going to say, yes, kill me. My natural reaction is going to be, I'm taking you out first.
that's a natural reaction, because we are defending our own life, right? So it's natural. So evidently you want to defend yourself. So thank you, Hyacinth. Leda, please.
I think it was a very good question. Giles' question was excellent, because we're not responsible for watching a movie, of course, but watching movies and thinking in our heads and choosing the kind of entertainment that you choose helps build your personality. So when you build your personality, it means that in the next time you're going to face anything hard, anything difficult, a challenge or something, you will be filled with that thoughts, with that movies that you watch, with that way of thinking. So your reaction when it's your turn to face it will be probably influenced by the books you read, the movies you watch, the thinking, the way you think. So we should always try to have the understanding, trying to see the other side, and also trusting that there is justice in the universe. We're not here abandoned. Things don't happen to us by chance. Everything that happens to us has a reason. There is a reason for everything. So we have to train ourselves to try to see beyond this the appearances, beyond the big picture, yes, and trust that there is a God, there is a justice that is above us in all circumstances.
Exactly, even when we do not understand, because we don't see the whole picture. As a matter of fact, I really like your comment. As a matter of fact, that reminded me when I was explaining to my son, you know, why watching the movies and listening to the lesson, to the songs he was listening that talks about suicide and suicidal folks, etc. I was telling him, I said, hey, if you are hungry, what kind of food do you look, you know, for yourself? So when we are hungry, we observe the quality of the food. So we don't eat anything, right? We want to eat something good, so we feel good. It's going to be good for our health. So we do not get, you know, something that is trash, is outdated, or is bad. So you don't want to be sick. And I said, the same thing happens when we are thirsty. You don't go out there on the street and take a bad water to drink. You look for a nice quality water so you don't get sick. The same way is your soul, is your mind. So we need to observe the quality of what kind of nutrition we give to our mind. Exactly.
And also, we can't forget that there are spirits around us. And these spirits will come closer if we think like they think. So if you're having thoughts of revenge, of hate, you will attract spirits that think alike you, in the same way.
The same way. Yeah, back to Giles' question and comment, that's the risk we are taking, right? If we just choose to watch those kind of movies. And yeah, so association, getting other friends joining us. Maria, you have your hand raised. You want to say something, or?
Yes. Revenge is an expression of taking justice if one's our own hands. I think it's like putting out a fire with gasoline. Revenge chains, prender, how I can say it in English?
In qual sentido?
Revenge chains the offended to the offender.
To trap,
right.
Okay,
Ofendido ao ofensor.
Connects.
Connects,
Yes, connects. And if you forgive, free yourself from the situation and let the justice of God's laws make you offender, learn to the notion of don't hunting anyone. We don't need to do the lesson that our offender needs. If
we don't want to teach them the lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, so
If
it's
he
not up to
doesn't-
us.
Yes, if he doesn't understand that he is coming out our nossos direitos, how can I say it in English?
Our own rights, to take our own.
He probably will need to understand it with hard lessons that we don't need to do to him.
Okay, so what you're saying is every time that we try to pursue a revenge, that means that at the end of the day, if we commit a crime or do any harm, then we are taking the risk of being connected to that person for a long time, perhaps more than one lifetime, you know. And so we should not we should not do justice, you know, by ourselves, by our own hand, but trust in the divine justice, you know, when at the end of the day, like back to Debbie's comments about forgiveness. That's our challenge but it's a great benefit learning from it. And instead of for a second losing our mind and having to respond for that only second, an entire life and perhaps lives later on, right? Okay, so I guess Leda, would you like to read the answer for 579A, please?
Letter A?
Yes,
Letter. It's the first one or letter A?
letter A. So 759A.
Okay. So are there cases where a person's honor is really at stake and a refusal to fight would be an act of cowardice? That depends on customs. Each country and every century has a different way of viewing such matters. When people are more morally advanced, they understand that the true point of honor transcends all human passions. Reparation for a wrong cannot be obtained by killing another or by getting yourself killed. So this is very interesting because the spirits, that was the custom back in Kardec's days, but the spirits were telling them that there would be a development, that these customs would evolve and people would understand it in a different way, because today we think this was stupid. And they were saying that this wouldn't prevail.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Leda. And the comment is, there is true greatness and honor in confessing our wrongdoing when we are wrong, forgiving when we are right, and in all cases, ignoring insults that cannot touch those who are superior to them. So back to Debbie's comments, is all about, forgiveness and being stronger and not and try to ignore whatever offense. So with that, I guess we go to capital punishment. And still under law of destruction, capital punishment is the next topic. Will the death penalty ever disappear from Human Legal Code 768? So the question is, will the death penalty ever disappear from Human Legal Codes?
This is such an interesting topic. I'm sorry, Maria, go on.
You are mute, Maria.
You can finish later. I tell up behind you.
I think this is very interesting because in the United States, there are many states that have death penalty, and in Brazil we don't have it. So it's so different for us. It's so absurd for us here to think of a death penalty, and because in centuries we haven't had it here. So I believe it's a matter of time that we are going, as a planet, we will all get to this point, I think.
Thank you, Leda. Maria?
Ending, I agree with that we need to think seriously about it, because it is a very important question. We think that ending the physical life of a criminal is a materialist point of view that society would be riding of how I can say, cidadão nocivo, a bad man, all right?
A bit bad citizen.
Yes, a bad citizen. Then we think, oh, if he is killed, we are free. But this happens because most of us do not consider that he is still alive on the other side of life, negatively influencing the thoughts of criminals who are incarnated. Then we don't eliminate the trouble. We make one bigger, all right?
Yes. So we do not fix anything.
Yes.
We just
Thank you, Anna.
make it even more complex, because the person will not die, will not just disappear. That person will continue to be alive as a spirit, and that person will be living in evidently it will not be a happy person, will not understand that situation, and like I said, it's going to influence even more the incarnated people who is considering doing a crime, or living in a situation like an outlaw or something like this. So it's yeah. Anyway, the way that I think about this is a wrongdoing will not fix another one. So, Debbie, please.
Well, I live in Virginia, Northern Virginia, which it's part of the Washington, D.C. area. And I have seen where they send criminals to be tried in Virginia because we have the death penalty, and Maryland and D.C. don't. So I've just seen that happen. I mean, we had that D.C. sniper. He got tried here, and one of them was put to death. And I've seen it with other people too.
Yeah, it is hard. It is very hard how one can think that by eliminating someone really makes anything better or repair anything, right? So but anyway, so
I think it's worth mentioning one thing here, that what it says in the Bible that you're supposed to do to punish people for various crimes, I'm very glad we are not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
As Giles was saying, human justice is often mistaken. So sometimes they kill innocent people as well.
Well, let's keep this in mind, that one day a trial was done between a criminal and Jesus, right? And what do we choose? So Hyacinth.
Yes, Giles, it's like stone your son to death if he doesn't do what you want him to do.
Thank you, Hyacinth. Gloria.
This has really got me thinking. It makes sense. I see it as a truth, but I never really thought about that before. If we don't cure the murderer in this lifetime, and they go to the afterlife, that possibly they can cause even more trouble over there than if we just keep them here and try to re-educate them or heal them from their mental illness or whatever it is. I mean, it makes perfect sense, but I never thought about that before. And I'm thinking, my goodness, we're really creating a bigger problem if we send them, you know, to the other side to be a bigger problem for more people. It just never occurred to me. It wasn't something I thought about before. So thank you for this.
Yeah, what I think this is one of the possibilities. We are not saying this is the what really happens, but
Right,
one
we
of the
don't know.
possibilities, right? We do not know. But the other thing that I think of is, as a minimum, what we are doing, we are just postponing a situation that now becomes more complex. So that person had a learning, had something to do, because that person was not here for, you know, just for vacation. Like any of us, we are all here to learn, to do something, to evolve. But as we don't do it, and then we just decide, okay, you are not allowed to be here anymore, go away, then we are creating a more complex situation now, because we have more people involved in that same cycle, in that same learning. And, you know, God knows when that will stop and how many lifetimes we need to get that just straight. So, Hyacinth, please.
I don't know if lifetimes help, because I mean it has been evolving, and more countries are getting rid of the death penalty, but they lock them up for life because they either need to keep them away from society, from go on killing people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends on how the judge rules.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that taking a life for a life is the way to go.
Is the way to go. Yeah.
But I think, I mean, what they're saying is it's going to take some time on how to really handle it,
Mhm.
because it isn't easy. But more and more people are saying, no, we should not have the death penalty, and that is happening. So I just hope that in time it will progress.
Yeah, me too.
And there's a case now, I was just seeing, where Singapore, you know, they hang drug dealers. That's their law.
Mhm.
And the reason for it is that drug dealers are corrupting the youth.
Mhm.
So that is it. And so there was a case where people were, the relatives, of course, were very upset.
Mhm.
But then I say that if the person knows that it is against the law, then he shouldn't do it, because that's a risk he is taking.
Mhm.
And I mean, 40 years ago, they had avoided going to Singapore because they knew this was the law, and you don't get away from it.
Mhm.
But still, it is a situation that each country has to deal with it.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yep.
so it's a situation. If you have a serial killer who goes on, you know, it's not so easy.
Yeah.
And dealers, they are making millions and millions and millions, and it is destroying people's lives. And youngsters are committing suicide under the influence of drugs. So it is a situation that need, I don't know, the education of people, you know, and so on, to make a difference. But it's not an easy question, I think.
No, it's not, and it's rather complex. Like I said, I mean, there is one thing is to trial somebody and at the end of the day say, okay, so for you to repair what you did, you deserve to die. Or the other one is to say, okay, that's the law that you have. We do not allow anybody to do, drugs, to deal with drugs here with the consequence of losing their life. So it's a very strong one, I would say,
Yes.
right? It's a very strong one. And perhaps if we think about Hyacinth, the intention, perhaps there is something that we can explore. So, for example, if I decide, I judge the person to, and I decide that person to face a death penalty because of a crime, then I decided, okay, this person doesn't deserve to live so anymore. This is one thing, is an intention to make that person to repair a wrongdoing. Now, if I decide, okay, that's the law, somebody to face the death penalty because of a wrongdoing, because of a drug, dealer or something, dealing with drugs, and we don't want the youth to be corrupted. So we want to prevent, we don't want to kill, we want to prevent that thing to be happening in our country. So I think it's a different, it's a little bit, it's a very, how can I say, it's not exactly the same intention behind I want to think that way, Carol, please.
I was just thinking about all this. If in fact we do, we read so much about, we plan our lives before we come here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And we have certain contracts that we agree to do and all like that. Do you think that murdering people would be a part of a contract before we come here on earth? And I mean, I have heard some mediums say that there will be a victim that will agree to be a victim for some reason, some karmic thing that the murderer and the victim will work through or work out or something like that. Do you know anything about that type of thing?
Sorry, Hyacinth.
No, I've heard that. Several people have said that people have come back. They had been murderers in a past life.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they come back to be murdered to work that karma off. But I can't say.
But then somebody would have to murder to be the murderer.
Well,
you know what
so,
I'm saying?
Again, what they're saying that other people have come to say, right, that I will do it because somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of thing, and it's a circle it goes on. So I cannot judge because I don't know.
That's a very good discussion. Leda, please.
Yeah, that wouldn't have an end, right? If you had to be murdered,
Exactly.
if you murder someone and you had to be murdered, that's why Jesus talks about having mercy. We should have mercy, and we should understand that in God's justice, there's always some kind of mercy. So if you murder someone for God's justice, it would be okay if you die in a car crash, for example, or in an airplane crash, or if you have a very serious disease that makes you feel the same way that the person that you murdered felt. Sometimes it happens like that. If you murder someone by firing a gun to their heart, then you have a heart condition. So that's God's mercy. going on and stopping that circle, that endless circle of hate, right? Because then you'd have less hate involved, less pain in terms of this I hate you and you hate me.
Less karma, right? So we just stop the karma wheel.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. As I said, I can't judge. There is one thing, and I quoted that to someone this evening, so that's why it's in my mind.
Hi, Steve. Are you there?
Jesus.
Okay.
Why was a man born blind? Was it as? Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, I have my internet is unstable, but that's what I got. But anyway, and was it the man's sin or was it his parents' sin that he was born blind?
Mhm.
And Jesus said it was neither the sin of the man born blind or the parents. It was to teach you to have compassion.
Passion.
And
Mhm.
so therefore, for whatever reason, that this man was born blind, again, that must have been some agreement. I'll go and do it.
Mhm.
I will go and take that upon this was something, but this was it. I mean, it was nobody's sin. It was
Mhm.
to teach you that you have compassion.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a very nice point. And I agree with what Leda said, is if we believe that for every single case, if I murder someone, I have to be murdered next time I live, then one, there is no mercy, there is no means to amend what I'm doing other than taking a life for life, right? And two, I'm assuming that the other person doesn't have a free will. The other person cannot decide, okay, I don't want to kill anyone. I don't want to do this. This is so, I guess what I believe, Gloria, is like what Leda said. Yes, we can. There are so many ways to repair what we did. But in the end, it's up to us to decide how it's going to be. I mean, to both parties, the offender and the offended. I think is up to us to decide how it's going to be. So, and then as a free will, nobody can really interfere in that. That's what I believe. But anyway, Debbie.
So this soul planning, life planning made me wonder about when people are killed in self-defense. I just was going, how does that work in your soul plan? And I mean, I know somebody that died recently and they had to kill someone in self-defense. So it makes me wonder what's happening with her.
Well, in this case, for example, I can't remember which book I read, but it was something like that, not a specific the same case, exact same case, but it's something similar, and the killer planned to come back and have another life, but this time as a doctor saving other people's life.
That's what I mean, and we don't really know, and that's why Stephen said it's difficult to judge because you do not know the full facts of each case.
Yeah, exactly. All the details is so hard. Yeah. Maria?
I think that we have an energy in soul to forgive. The spiritual dynamics of forgiveness is to remove us from the feelings of hurt and anger, which are denser and delay our progress, and put us in a healthier vibratory range, freeing us to move forwards. That's right? Forwards, yes. Then I think that's very important to understand that it's not a philosophy or a religion position, but have an energy, energy, a process energy behind it.
Yes, and there is a scientific reason to do
that's
that, right? Yeah. Thank you, Maria. So the question is 760, will the death penalty ever disappear from human legal codes? And the answer, the death penalty will disappear over the course of time, and when it does, its eradication will mark progress of the human race. When people become more enlightened, the death penalty will be completely abolished across the globe, and humans will no longer need to be judged by humans. This time is still a long way off. Well, but I'll tell you what, if the spirits, if they're saying that there will be an end, there will be an end. So yeah, we know it's going to be a long way off, but there will be an end to do this, to all of this. And then the comment, the social progress already made leaves much to be desired, but it would be unfair for modern society not to recognize the progress that has been successfully made. We should think in terms of restrictions on capital punishment and the crimes for which it is handed down in the most advanced nations. If we compare the measures with which the law handles the accused and the humanity with which they are treated, even when found guilty in these countries, with the methods of criminal procedures used in the recent past, the progress of the human race is obvious. So I guess no comment on that, right?
We look forward with hope.
Yes, exactly. So 761, the law of self-preservation gives human beings the right to protect their own lives. Aren't we simply exercising this right when we eliminate a dangerous member from society? That's a very hot topic. And I guess we did discuss that, right? So the law of self-preservation gives human beings the right to protect their own lives. Aren't we simply exercising this right when we eliminate a dangerous member from society? So we discussed that before, but the answer here from the spirits, there are other means of protecting yourselves from dangerous individuals than killing them. You should open the door of repentance for criminals rather than closing it to them. So forgiveness, education, patience, right? So lots of skills that we are yet to learn and practice. Any comments so far? No? Shall we?
Not an easy one.
Yeah, I know. So 762, while the death penalty may one day be banished in civilized society, why it not necessarily in more primitive times? While the death penalty may one day be banished in civilized society, was
Civilized
it not?
society, that's an interesting word.
I know.
We don't
Are we
actually appear
civilized?
to have a civilized society on this planet, but in 1850 they thought they did. In Sweden, there are 5 different kinds of prison, depending on the character and the nature of the crime. I don't know if anybody's aware of this, but they've been running this for 50 years. And the nature of the crime depends on the attitude and personality of the committer of the crime. And so the different kinds of prisons have different attitudes, and they attempt to be correctional centers, unlike the country that I'm living in right now, which is the United States, where it's just a sarcastic name to call them correctional centers, because they make no attempt whatever to correct anybody of anything. If anything, they teach them how to be meaner. And then there's another thing which is worth mentioning, because this is 150-year-old, 170-year-old information we're reading, is that Portugal, which they never mention in media, 22 years ago decriminalized all drugs, including morphine, heroin, cocaine, you name it. So the result is they have 60% less people in their prisons, and they can now spend time on rehabilitation. The drugs can be purchased in any pharmacy by any adult, somebody over 18. And on it is written, if you take 3 of these, you will die. And next door, they have a place where you can shoot up with lights. And next door to that, they have a rehabilitation center, all paid for by selling drugs legally. Now, the dealers have disappeared from the street corners by the schools, of course, because why? They sell crap, whereas the pharmacy sells good stuff. Everybody's staying very quiet. It's as though you've never heard about any of this. This is 22 years that they have been doing this in Portugal. And it works perfectly. 60% less people in prison. Can you imagine how well that would go down, and how well the cartels in Mexico would enjoy legal drugs in America? We have to wait a while to get our happy ending. That's all. That's what the whole point is. Entertainment. Sorry, that was a long speech, but the media seem to overlook this thing and pretend that Portugal doesn't exist.
Yeah, this is a hard one as well. It's very sensitive topic to Carol, and I don't think the media is really interested in discussing it.
So Giles, did you say you have to be over 18 to buy the drugs at a pharmacy? So here in the States, the dealers are going after kids. Yeah.
The dealers are big
underage.
pharma. Big pharma is selling drugs in every direction as wildly as it can, and charging $1,000 for a pill that costs $4. That's the legal side of the drug dealing in America. The illegal side is supplied by the cartels in Mexico, which, if you look at the information, you will find that the vast majority of the DEA offices in America are corrupted by the cartels in Mexico and have people in them informing the cartels of what's going on. Now,
Well, I mean,
it may be
about
disappointing,
Portugal.
but you can find the map. All you have to do is look for it.
Well, like in Portugal, they don't, they don't worry about the kids under 18 being exposed to drugs and becoming addicts.
They're not exposed to drugs and becoming addicts, or rather, those that want to can, and there's nothing much anybody can do about it. because it certainly shows that the war on drugs has been a total failure in this country, which is why Portugal legalized everything, or decriminalized it, if you want to be specific about it. But let me remind you, beside the pharmacy is a place where you can shoot up. The pharmacy will give you clean needles. Beside that is a rehabilitation center where you can check yourself in. Gloria. Hi there. Is somebody leaving? Oh, somebody
Gloria,
left.
she left.
Okay, no, it's 22 years since Portugal has done this, and the results are enormous and far-reaching and sane.
Yeah, I haven't heard of jazz. I will certainly read and check on that. I have some friends who lives in Portugal, and Maria, she has a son living in Portugal right now. So I will certainly double check on that. It is a trial and error thing, right? So we do not know which way is going to be more effective.
Well,
in
okay,
both
when you say
cases,
which way will be more effective, as though there are only two ways. The one is make it illegal and tell everybody
Yeah.
they're going to prison for 50 years if they so much
Yeah.
as smoke a joint. And that clearly in 100 years has not
yeah.
been working at all.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
put the price up
The-
and
the-
encouraged the criminals.
Mhm.
Whereas
I see. Yeah, the problem that I see is we really do not have the education. We are not prepared to face in any way. So
When you say we, who's we?
the human race, the human.
Oh, we like taking drugs, and it's not just us either. It's monkeys, it's elephants, it's horses. Does anybody know that elephants deliberately keep the young elephants away from the fruit on the tree until it's fallen down and started to convert into alcohol, so that the elephants can then go and eat the fruit because it's turned into alcohol and get drunk? Does anybody know that? There are endless examples of animals choosing to use drugs. They like it. We are animals. We call ourselves humans. We like it. So the question is, how can we arrange it so that it does the least damage to society? And right now we've got the Portuguese system or the Dutch system on the other side, and then the American system on the other side of the Atlantic. And which one is working? Well, I'm not going to answer that question.
Yeah, but see, this is a very interesting thing, because we need to think about, okay, so what are we doing here? What is the purpose of us living in this planet? I mean, we live in a physical body. We face physical challenges, right? And our task is to live a physical experience, but keeping in mind that we are not this. We are not flesh and bone and blood. We are spirits. And as a spirit, what is we need to keep this in mind. What is up to us to do to evolve, yet being in this body, is a nice thing. Just getting drugs and just having a virtual experience or something, or should I take advantage of the time that I have to do better things, to, for example, help somebody that is out there in the street and is in cold or in a cold weather, or hungry or something. So I don't know, sometimes that's me, and maybe just because I'm a very anxious person, but even when I sleep over, for long hours, I feel like I'm wasting time. So when I should be doing or working on something more profitable, more when I say profitable is I should be doing something more useful with my time.
Productive.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's the word that I was looking for. Yeah. Sorry, Carol, you had your hand raised. Somebody had. Oh,
No,
Maria,
I
was Maria.
didn't
No,
say
I
Maria.
was, because I don't understood the main question of Giles.
Oh,
What
Giles.
is the main question, what
Oh.
he said for us.
Oh, he was talking about, what that Portugal just decided to make legal all the drug dealers, something
Okay,
like
all right.
legal, and
I think that he's talking about Mexico. All right? Or no?
as well.
As well. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I sometimes I don't understand everything everybody talk about. Sorry.
No problem. So I will read the answer in this question. While the death penalty may one day be banished in civilized society, was it not necessary in more primitive times? And the answer, necessary, is not the right word. Human beings always think that something is necessary when they cannot find anything better. As they become enlightened, they understand justice and injustice more clearly and reject the abuses committed during ignorant times, all in the name of justice. So it's 4:18 here in Houston. So I guess I'll call out for today, and I hope to see you all next Sunday. Again, I'm happy to see you all back, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful year.
Next Saturday, Anna, not Sunday.
Next Saturday.
Oh, did I say Sunday? Oh, it's because I have something to do tomorrow in the Spirit Center, so I have work to do tomorrow. Yeah, next Saturday.
Okay, see
Good
you.
to see everybody.
Bye. Have a nice
Take
week.
care.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.